Flag on the flag. Yeah, it's supposed to be that way, so that way when it's on the wall, like that, the single star. It's all staged.
We'll give Alderman Mathis a moment to get here.
Okay, we got stopwatch. Thank you. Yeah, I got you.
All right. We'll call a special meeting to order, special call again with Board Mayor Alderman for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. If you would, let's stand and have an invocation. Father in heaven, we thank you this evening for this chance to come together to consider issues concerning our city. We pray that you would bless us and give us wisdom and discernment to make good, right decisions for everyone involved. In Jesus' name, amen. So we read the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Sign again. Everybody signed in? Okay, it's all set and present. Comments for citizens. We have a time here where citizens interested will be invited to speak for 3 minutes about any matter within the purview of the board. Is there anyone that wishes to make a comment this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of the agenda. We have 4 items on the agenda. Is that correct? Currently, anyone want
I'd like to
any-
make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
An amendment. Can we move the new business number 1 ordinance number 1666 till after item 3, item number 25-24?
So you want to make it number 4 now, basically, after number 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one, Bobby?
The first item.
So move number 1, new business, number 1, the ordinance number 1666 to be after number 3, item number 25-25.
If there's no objections, we'll accommodate that. All right, any other changes to the agenda? Alderman Byrd.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add.
We need to vote on this
Do we have to vote to move it? Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we'll vote. That's fine. Let's vote. All right, that passes to move item 1 into after item 24-105. Alderman Byrd.
I'd like to make a motion to add a few items to the agenda. Do you want me to do these one at a time?
Yes. Let's do that way.
The first would be to consider the confirmation of John Miller as the interim airport manager. That was voted on unanimously by the airport board.
Okay, second. Good second for that.
Do you want to do these individually?
Let's go ahead and do it individually. Still need to hold it. So motion second on that. Unless there's any discussion, let's vote on that one. So that motion carries 7-0, so we'll do that. What's the next one?
I'd like to make a motion to consider the reconfirmation of Chase Sons as the chief of police per our charter. After a conversation with Mr. Worsham, this was something that historically the Board of Mayor and Aldermen would do once a year to reaffirm that the board elects a person to this position.
Okay, Put a second on that.
Elect or?
Second.
I think the charter uses the term elect.
Okay,
Correct, yes, that's correct.
that's correct. So it's elect. I'm sorry, we voted on this again.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make a statement.
Yeah.
I assume that Chase knows that he is an employee of the board.
That'll reaffirm tonight.
You know, yeah, that's the reason for this.
All right. I'm sorry, ready to vote on this one, so let's vote on that one. 7 yes.
The last item is to consider the reconfirmation of Lori Ashley as the city recorder for the same reason. It's outlined in the charter.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on that. We're trying to type all that in. Let's go ahead and vote. Seven yes on that. Any other changes to the agenda? So back to the motion on the agenda. So we have a motion and a second on the agenda. If there's any other discussion, let's vote on the agenda. Okay, 7 yes on that. So the agenda is approved. So we'll start now on new business with, I'm sorry.
I've got to move number one.
Okay, go ahead. So item number 25-104, a request to authorize the city's attorney office or other city staff to research outside firms to provide HR services to the city of Tullahoma, including support for performance reviews, employee grievance process, support for updating city personnel policies, and other services as determined by the board, mayor, and aldermen. We have a motion, a second for discussion on that. So motion by Alderman Byrd, second by Alderman Tony. Discussion. And I was asked to remind by a very nice, kind citizen who said they're very nice enough reminding us to use our microphones because they can't hear us on YouTube. Although I guess we're not connected to these tonight, are we? So it's probably a good habit to get into the practice. Go ahead, Mr. Tony. Did you have a comment?
No, I.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had a comment.
I just want to ask a question. From the motion that was passed earlier with Lori,
Yes.
will this affect her other duties at all by, and I'm gonna.
No, I understand what you're saying, because she's doing HR work right now.
She's
So I
doing
suppose-
HR
so I suppose
work
it-
right now.
I suppose it could, yeah.
But we would also need her, I'm sure they would need her assistance in some way. I just don't want her to feel like she's not an asset to the city, and that she's not doing a good job.
I appreciate that.
I want to just confirm that and affirm that with you. I don't want you to feel like that any of us think that you're not.
And actually, we would still need an HR presence here in the city. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that's true.
Do you think,
Mr.
I would
Tony?
refer to the city attorneys, that we would need a contact person here for
Absolutely.
day-to-day things?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. I think people that do outsource their HR, I still think they have someone boots on the ground in person. I think that's important.
I guess the question I have, and I want to make sure to confirm it with Lori. Are you comfortable with us doing this in regards to changing to a third party and taking the responsibility off your back?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your, yeah.
Any other comments?
I just, this, and I think if we take this action, it in no way reflects on any dissatisfaction with Lori whatsoever. It's she needs the help, because she has a lot of work to do, so, and she had a full-time job already as a city recorder, so this will be that. And like we said, there is the need for Lori, and I think she already has some help in HR that would need to be here to be the liaison with this HR firm in the city. That's the way I look at it happening. I don't know if anyone else disagrees with that.
What is the HR coming from some other place? What is their function?
They would be the way I see it, it would be a third party that would be able to give non-biased professional recommendations to the city.
Ms. McGee, did you have a comment as well?
No.
That you raised your hand on?
I guess the thing too is that we're trying to separate it for the protection of the city employees, and actually our legal. We do it this way, then it pulls us out of a lot of what I consider can be real issues. And again, I appreciate what you've done, and I think it's definitely a benefit for you. You see it that way.
How many other cities in our area have a third party?
Well, there's only, my understanding, there's only two cities our size that don't have an HR.
Full HR.
Who? I do not know those cities. I was just told that.
Mr. Washington.
One of the things they can do is help us with our personnel policies in order to develop those and make them consistent with our goals. Right now, you saw multiple pages of suggested changes to personnel policies. They can help us with that too. These people are experts. None of us are. We're not, y'all aren't. And they can help us develop the right kind of personnel policies consistent with the law, in addition to help us with the other employee relations that we need. So.
The other consideration too is I worked with what's called employment practices liability. That virtually is what you're supposed to buy or help you, protect you for employment related, dealing with governmental regulations. And let me tell you, that is a changing target, constantly changing. And not to have somebody that does this full time and can, and especially in my opinion, a good third party, that's all they do. So I think, again, protection for us as the board, protection for the employees, and frankly, a protection for the citizens, because if we get lawsuits and stuff like that we don't know things about, we at least have a third party we can hang that hat on. So,
That still doesn't mean we won't get lawsuits.
well, that doesn't mean anything, but it may, fortunately, it may put us in a position where we don't have to worry about it as much. There's always the subject for lawsuits, period.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to also thank Ms. Rourke for all the work she's been doing at the HR system. She's been doing a phenomenal job from what I've been hearing too. So just a thank you to her also.
I want to direct a question to the attorneys. Is there anything in this motion that's missing or that you would change? Because I wrote that pretty quickly with not much sleep on an airplane.
Well, I just think it would be good to specifically authorize us to, in this as well, it says performance reviews, but specifically to authorize us to get you all the help that you need to comply with contracts for city employees that do have contracts. If there are performance reviews or evaluations required, to specifically authorize us to seek out the HR support for that. With this, I mean, I know it says performance reviews, but I think it'd be better for us to be specifically authorized to do that.
Okay.
And I think this ought to include staff, because we need some help, right, the staff here as well to help us with that.
And I think the city staff to do
Yeah,
it with
right.
if we need help from the staff.
Okay. Do we need to add that explicitly? Is that what you're saying?
The city staff is on there,
Okay.
I think, but I just wanted to clarify that what you meant when you put performance reviews, that would include us, finding someone to help with evaluations and reviews of employees, including getting employee feedback.
Okay. Do we need to make an amendment to that effect, or do you think it's?
I really don't think you do. I think this discussion would include all of that. I know the discussion doesn't appear in the minutes, but we will have a record of that. But I think this is adequate for bidding purposes.
Let me make sure too, that, again, there's more to it. This would also include overseeing benefits, making sure they're compliant.
Yes.
I think those things are important, not just employee reviews. You know, good HR should handle all that. Make
It's
sure
a
they're
comprehensive,
compliant.
it's a comprehensive.
We would get a proposal for the
Yeah, we'll
board
get
to
a
look
chance to
at.
review all that.
Yeah.
We're not approving it that tonight, we're just
No.
approving, let's go look.
We get a proposal for something like that for you to review.
Okay.
I do have a question. Should we just ensure that they know that we have someone local
Yes.
Yes.
that does a good job and is knowledgeable and
Yes, and
that
we
they
would
don't
do
come in
that.
thinking that
We
it's
need
just gonna be
someone.
them,
Right.
we already have someone.
We would frame it, because my understanding from the board, based on what you all have said here, is we want to keep what we have.
Right.
And so we're not looking to do away with anyone's job by doing this. What we're saying is those people could be a resource on the ground here and work with whatever you all select as the company to do the outsourcing for HR.
Still need the boots on the ground.
We still do that.
Yeah, for lack of a better term.
All right, anything else? If not, let's vote. Motion carries 7-0. Keep me straight, we're on item 25-105, right?
Yes.
Item 25-105, a request to authorize city attorney's office or other city staff to research outside firms to provide IT services to the city of Tullahoma, including security audit, system security configuration, and other services as determined by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. We have a motion for that? Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly would we be asking of this third party
I think,
as far as?
I think we'll be working on determining that as we see some proposals, but to me, it's an external audit of our security on our internal systems to make sure everything's up and above board and done properly. Our little company uses outside IT support. We have internal IT person and external IT support. And it works really well for us. That's just Mayor's opinion. Anyone else? Any questions or comments on that? All good? All right, let's vote then. Oh, yeah. I thought you were reading. I thought you were deciding.
I thought you were probably.
All right, so
I had to.
all right, that motion carries. That brings us back to the original one. Ordinance number 1666, an ordinance to amend the personnel policies of the city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, is authorized by Chapter 4 entitled Municipal Personnel as set forth in the Tullahoma Municipal Code to enact provisions regarding abusive conduct prevention by adding in Chapter 7 of the personnel policies entitled General Policies and Procedures, and new Section 7.23 entitled Abusive Conduct Prevention Policy for passage on the first of two readings. Do we have a motion and a second for this? So the motion from Mr. Toma, second from Mr. Byrd. Mr. Worsham, could you explain to us exactly what you put together here?
Yes, I
The
can.
basis of it is?
This was suggested by some other people on your board as well. But what we did was, the research indicates that the state has enacted a statute that is enabling legislation allowing the state and/or municipalities to adopt a program such as this. And because time was of the essence, I simply copied the language from that into this ordinance. I thought that could be amended at a later date. You could either pass it on first reading and then wait until another time to study it more carefully, or postpone it to a later time to study it more carefully. It's pretty comprehensive, but I didn't have the time to go through there and actually develop a program different from what the state would suggest. So that's what I did. And I don't want to rush through this at all, but it's something that we ought to consider incorporating into our personnel policies, and this provision could actually wait until we do have some experts to help us design our personnel policies and amend them as we should.
I haven't heard a lot about that.
Just begin discussion about that.
Yes, sir. Ms. Wilson.
Yeah, and to Mr. Worsham's point, I like some things in there. And I agree that we need to add some language into our policies. But I feel like that we're getting the cart before the horse, because we are going to seek the outside HR company, and I would like to kind of get their opinions about some of this before we even go into this now.
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Okay. Would the state supersede anything that we would put in our own charter?
Now, this is enabling legislation. This allows us to create
Allows
these
us.
provisions in our own charter or our own. We don't have to do it by charter. We can do it by ordinance. The state is suggesting that municipalities and governmental entities adopt a policy like this, and they've suggested some language for it. But no,
Okay.
they haven't
So they-
enacted anything that would preempt us.
Has the state adopted it themselves for their, has the state adopted it themselves? for
Beg
their-
pardon?
Has the state adopted it themselves?
No, just the enabling legislation. They have not adopted these policies themselves.
Bert.
After giving this document to Mr. Worsham, I started doing a lot of research into this. And I do agree that there are some things that could be changed in the wording of this. But I also believe that if we were to vote on this, we can always go back and amend it on the second reading, or once we have an HR professional, we could amend it at a later time also. But this is something that it would help support what is currently in our employee handbook. It makes it a little bit beefier, adds some definitions that aren't currently in our handbook. And I think that it's an important thing to put in place to help protect our employees.
Mr. McGee, I'm sorry. I didn't see
And you can always do that. You can always pass it on first reading and then amend it later if you wanted to do that. This just gets the ball rolling.
I agree with Alderman Wilson. I think we should wait until we get those HR professionals in to help us with this, with the wording. Also, you referred to it as a program when you were speaking, Mr. Walsh. You referred to it as a program.
No, a policy. It's a policy.
Okay, I thought I
I'm
heard you
sorry.
say the word program.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that we should.
Yeah, I agree with Bobby and Ternovia on this. I think we're kind of getting the cart before the horse. We already just passed legislation to hire a professional HR firm to guide us in this, and it even specifically says that in updating city personnel regulations. And this is a part of the personnel regulations. I don't know that it needs to be a standalone ordinance. I think it's a little premature, and I don't want to vote against it. But I think it's premature, and I'd have to at this time because I don't think we're ready for it yet. I think it needs to be looked at further. I mean, we just got it the other day, and it's pretty long and complicated. I think we need to wait till a professional HR firm can help us with that.
And I guess the question I have is if we vote on it now and vote it down, does that mean we can't bring it back up again in the same form for a while or not?
Well, can we remove it?
Well, that's what I was going to ask, if Alderman Byrd might be willing to consider withdrawing his motion.
I would prefer to make it a motion to table it until we have a.
Table it kills it.
Yeah, you can. I never can remember the rules on that.
I thought that we could table it to
I think it has to come up at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah, I'll remove this motion then.
Okay, initial motion is withdrawn. So that deals with that for now. I appreciate it being brought. I think it's important to get down, but I kind of agree with everyone else. Let's do it in one clean shot. Otherwise, we're just going to be amending it again.
Now we're back to
Number four, the actual original four. Item number 25-106, a request to authorize the city attorney's office to pursue legal action for 3 condemnation actions for real estate within the city. Do we have a motion second for that? Motion second. Ms. Wilson.
Mine's frozen too.
Oh, you-
I'll make a motion.
It's showing up for me. so.
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
I made a motion.
It's showing the previous ordinance.
I can't see it.
Oh, hold on. That's on me.
Okay.
All right, someone feel free now. It's still showing. All right. So the motion second. Mr. Worship.
There are 3 items of litigation that we need to address tonight. One of them is litigation that has already been commenced by the owners of the Ada Farrell Apartments in East Tullahoma. They've done that in order to preclude us from moving forward with some code violation prosecutions because there have been deficiencies have been uncovered out there. We talked with their attorney, Mr. Gibbons from our firm actually represents the city in the codes matters, and he's not here tonight, but I've looked at the litigation and we talked to their attorney. They're going to stay the litigation until we can try to work these things out. They are working toward resolving the deficiencies there, and at that time the suit will be dismissed. So we don't need to refer this to our insurance carrier. Our law firm is fully capable of handling this matter for the city. The second one is a codes violation that's very severe. A residence on Cobb Road in East Tullahoma. We've been there and viewed it. I think several of y'all have. It's boarded up. There's junk and trash in the yard, on the house, and everywhere. Neighbors are complaining, rightfully so. It's rat infested and snake infested, and we need to take action to move forward with litigation to eventually gain possession of the property and condemn it and tear it down. It probably is not able to be rehabilitated. The third one is a former business building later converted into a church on West Lincoln Street that is on a very, very small lot. In fact, it shares an easement with the property next door for a driveway for access to it. That's been evaluated. The plumbing is in concrete and cannot be restored. The building cannot be restored. We need to take action against whomever is the owner of it, probably serve them by publication, because we can't determine who the owners are any longer because the congregation and the board of deacons are defunct and not identifiable. We need to do that so that we can also gain possession of it and raise it or attempt to rehabilitate and sell it, whichever is appropriate.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Worsham on these 3 actions? The first one, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay. The first one, so we are or we're not taking an action error?
You just need to authorize us to move forward, authorize to move forward with all 3 of these cases.
Okay. Just want to make sure of that.
It's froze.
Frozen in time.
Were you wanting to say something?
No, I was just gonna make it a motion.
Okay.
Well, it's already.
It's already made it, the motion was
The
made.
motion
Yes.
was made.
That's why we had
Okay.
our discussion.
Some people must be working that are doing
I can see theirs.
it. Which is, okay,
All
there
right,
it is.
there we go. Okay, let's vote. That motion carries 7-0. Item number 5, I think. Trying to keep track, that's read number 10. Consider confirmation of John Miller as the interim airport director. We have a motion and a second on that. Is there any discussion about that?
I have information.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mr., you can't see it, I'm sorry.
But you can see it up here, but not on.
On ours, okay. Mr. Byrd has some information from the airport authority on this.
That doesn't work.
We need a second. Can somebody attempt to see if our system is working? All right. Apparently it working, Mr. Byrd. I'm sorry, Mr. Byrd, go ahead. You got some information you want.
This was an appointment by the airport authority. It was a unanimous decision earlier this week to have Mr. Miller come in as the interim airport manager until a replacement can be found.
Anyone have any questions about that?
So is Mr. Miller only wanting to do it temporarily, just until they can find?
Yeah, I think that's,
I believe he's expressed that he does not want to do this full-time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's coming out of retirement to do this for the airport.
We're lucky to get him.
any other conversations, discussion? All right, let's vote. That motion carries 7-0. Number 6, consider reconfirmation of Chase Sons as Tullahoma Police Chief of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. All right, so we have a motion and second from Mr. Glick, Mr. Byrd, or the other way around. Motion by Mr. Byrd. Now we don't have any. Okay. Yeah, it's still catching up? There we go. All right, so we have a motion and second. I'm going to stop reading names because it keeps changing. Recorder's recording. Any discussion on this one?
I have questions about this one. And I don't have questions about Chief Sons, I've been involved in city government, I guess, for over 40 years now, and I've always heard that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen has one employee, and it's the city administrator. And now, when we had an executive session, we were told that, and I've seen it in the charter, and I read it in the charter, but I always thought that maybe there was an ordinance or something superseded it that when they created the city administrator's position, because city administrator isn't mentioned in the charter. And it says in the charter that the chief of police and the city recorder work for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So now, what we are told is that the board actually has 3 employees: the police chief, the city recorder, and
The city
HR.
court. City
oh yeah,
judge.
and the city judge. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Judge Conley. But so the board actually has 4 employees now. So I just wanted to make sure that if that is the case, and I understand that correctly now, is that everybody knows that going forward, and if we do, there might need to be some changes in operations, or how do we go forward with that over like day-to-day supervision or things like that? Does anybody have those answers?
I've had those thoughts. I don't know if I got all the answers or not. I did ask when we saw this, did we have any other legislation that overrode that? And I was told that we do not, because it's in the charter and that overrides ordinances. I don't think it's been an ordinance in regard to it anyway. I mean, my expectation is, and I'm sure the chief agreed, that we as a board would expect the chief to be working hand in hand with the city administrator in any regard, but maybe we're going to be responsible for an evaluation or something like that. I don't know beyond that what that would mean. I mean, it's not that different in some sense of the sheriff of the county. He's independently elected and he serves. County mayor doesn't boss the city, the sheriff around either, and they get along just fine as well. So I don't think it'll be a big change.
I think the point is, I like the separation of having it done that way. Those are key positions, and to me, they need to be separated. The other question is, do we need to bring Conley in and vote for him?
I thought about that too.
Does he have to be approved? I'm serious.
Let me comment on that. I hate to contradict what the mayor said. The city judge, if you look at the charter carefully, the city judge is not an employee.
Oh, he's not an officer. I thought he listed.
Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
I thought he listed the officer of the city, but.
It's a separate provision in the charter. They are elected by the people. They are an
Oh, that's
employee
right.
of the
I'm sorry.
taxpayers
Oh,
of this
okay.
town. They're not the employees. We have 0 jurisdiction over the city judge. It's
Thank
only
goodness.
the recorder and the chief of police. And back in the dark ages, when I was first city attorney, every year, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen re-elected the chief of police and the recorder. And that practice just went by the wayside during the years, and I didn't notice that till I was doing some research about all of this. later on and realized that we've never changed that in the charter. And we didn't even change that when we had the committee last year, they're working on the charter changes, didn't change it then, just slipped by it. But that's in there, and there is no ordinance or any other kind of action that we could take to change the charter provision. We would have to change it via the state like we would any other charter provision. And you may want to revise that later on when we look at revising the charter again. But right now, that's what it is, and we're bound to follow those provisions.
Who keeps an eye on Conley?
The voters, just like any other politician, Mr. Coleman, the voters watch you all the time.
So, Mr. Worsham, then, do we need to note in, I guess in our records that in October of every year, we re-elect these two positions to follow the charter correctly?
Actually, they did it every year when they had the new budget, is when they used to do it. In other words, sometime in June. Oh, yeah, it's my recollection, it's been a long time ago.
It's in there.
It's not listed as an officer of city charter, just those two positions.
Now, probably what we need is an enabling ordinance to subject them to, or make them the beneficiaries of our personnel policies and that sort of thing, which the charter is silent about how we would govern their being employees of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So we might want to look at that, and we might look at that with the expert that we'll find, we hopefully, that'll help us with our personnel policies to incorporate provision for those two offices as well therein.
Well, I think the whole city organizational chart is incorrect then, as it stands, with this new information.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I think all the employees under the police chief are.
No, all that's fine, but
Yeah.
I do have a question. Why wouldn't the fire chief
I don't know.
be listed?
It's just not the way it is.
Not be
You
listed.
just don't
Okay.
like it.
the charter.
Zenobia, our charter was reenacted in 1903. We probably didn't have a fire chief in
Gotcha.
1903.
And I had requested to speak, but you answered my question. Why was this an oversight for so many years? So
Yeah.
thank you for answering my question.
I don't know.
I guess my question would be, if the chief, if the police chief is an employee of ours, who is the employees under him? Are they controlled by him, or are they controlled by?
No,
city
they're
administrator?
employees of the city, and they be controlled by the personnel policies.
Okay.
But the police chief is specifically, he's the department head. So they answer to the department head.
Okay.
So basically, you can just kind of break that whole department off and move it over, and same thing with the city recorder's department. Is that,
I don't think that's quite right.
or are we going to, yeah, I mean, I think for clarity, at some point, we're gonna have to resolve that, or otherwise, reporting issues would, I mean, are we going to, as a Board of Mayor and Aldermen said, yeah, they work for us, but we're going to have you report through the city administrator?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then, okay, then if we're not, then like I said,
No, I just think the chief of police is the department head, and they answer to the department head, but they also work for the city, so you kind of.
right, they report to us.
Just the way it is now, I mean.
Well, now they report through the city administrators, their direct supervisor of the department head.
Well, my question in my mind is, it's the same situation that we have with our city administrator. He answers to us, so I'm saying that his position is the same as, and
So
so
it
is
would
the
come
city
in-
recorder.
There would be 3 branches off of the
Off of
Board
the Board of
of
Mayor and Aldermen. That's why I'm saying the organizational chart would have to be changed, because
But I
now,
don't think the entire police department now becomes employees of the board.
no.
That's-
They are Mr. Sun's employees, the police chief's employees.
Is that
But the
correct?
police
So-
chief answers to the board and not to the city administrator.
There
Is that
would
what
be
we're
3
saying?
branches off of the BOMA, and then.
No,
off
that's
of
not
the-
right. I think, pretty sure that our policies and the charter say that all employees and the citizens ultimately respond to the city administrator. We're just saying these two don't.
I know, that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually,
exactly
That's what I'm
what
saying, but the police, the deputy chief is not suddenly answering to us.
No, he answers to the police chief like he always did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
he was
whole.
just saying the organizational
Right, yeah.
chart would have to be changed.
The whole, yeah, because
They're still subject to all the city
they,
policies.
yeah, I know, but I just want it to be clear right now. Is that what we're saying, that the police chief no longer answers to the city administrator? Is that what you're saying?
That's
That is
correct.
And the city recorder no longer
That's
answers to the city
I don't think
administrator?
that's
Okay.
correct.
That's why
That's what the
that's why the
charter
org
That's
chart
what
would
the
have to
charter
be changed.
says.
I thought the charter said that they hold the position at the will and pleasure of the board, not report to the board. I think the org chart, it would have a little dashed line.
Yeah, dashed
going
line
to
works
them,
for me.
that We appoint them, but that doesn't mean they report to us. I could be incorrect.
If they serve it out will and pleasure, in a
I
sense,
think
they
it would
report.
take our attorneys reading the charter to define that.
Mr. Worship.
Yeah.
That's why I said I think we probably need to add an ordinance that addresses
Okay.
these issues that we don't have now, because I think this has just been ignored for a number of years. And I just wanted to point out to y'all that this is what's in our charter, we're bound by the charter. But we can enact ordinances that are not inconsistent with our charter, so that in our ordinances, we can define their duties and responsibilities and to whom they report, and the fact that the people that are in that department are employees of the city and all that sort of thing. So that's why I'm saying that we're going to be revamping the personnel policies and all that. We can look at this issue as well for these two positions, and I think we should.
Well, I think we need to, because it's very unclear. I guess just being with the city so long, it's just totally opposite of what we've ever been told or ever thought or ever worked through. I mean, I know of no other, going back to Jack Welch, as far as police chiefs I knew when I worked here, they all reported to the city administrator. And I just want to know if we're changing that now, and whether we should change it or not.
Well,
We're restoring it.
I think the key to it is that we discovered something.
Right,
Firstly, that bird, and which makes sense to me, that those two positions should be kept separate and under the control of the board, mayor, and alderman.
Mr. Worship?
Yes. We didn't have a city administrator back then. The city administrator has come about in more modern times. For the many, many years after I was appointed as city attorney, we had no city administrator. This came about in Mayor George Orr's regime, when that was back in the 80s. Before then, there was no city administrator.
Now, the city
boarders
city
and aldermen
administrator-
supervised all the department heads up till then, and they've never upgraded the charter after that, or have more modern ordinances to agree with these other things.
I believe the first city administrator was Ron Darden.
No, that was before, there was a fellow by the name of Ken Jack.
Oh, yeah, that's
George
right.
Orr
He was,
mayor.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that was in the 80s.
That was before
and,
my time.
Yeah, in the 80s is when that was.
And then Ron Darden came along, that's who was city administrator when I started working for the
Right.
city.
Well, we'll definitely want to kind of get some clarification of, what is really in there, and if we would want to make changes like Mr. Worsham said, because the only danger, if it is written to where the police chief and the recorder are under the purview of the BOMA, is technically every time that the BOMA changed, those positions could change as well, which might not be a good thing. I mean, that's just something that I'm saying
That's
to
actually
think
pretty
about.
common in a lot of elections.
That's why I said that every time there was an election back in those days, the chief of police and the city recorder were scared to death because the regime changed. So that's why I say, when we revise our charter, what we're gonna do, sometime, hopefully in the not too far future, this is something we need to look at. And we can, but in the meantime, we can enact ordinances that are not contrary to our charter to facilitate how we're gonna handle this in the interim.
Can I just make a
Yes,
suggestion?
yes.
Also, in lieu of, I guess, the climate of our city is a good word to use. Maybe we shouldn't make too many abrupt changes. I think that would be wise right now, and just wait till we further research what the ordinance really says.
Well,
Just,
I will say the charter says what it
Or the
says,
charter.
regardless of what we vote tonight. The
Well, I
charter
mean-
says what it
Yeah,
says.
that's true.
No, I appreciate that.
yes.
We need to do
Yeah,
that.
kind of,
We need some more work.
it just upsets kind of the whole, the trajectory or the whole history of the organization. I mean, that's why I kind of agree with Cernobia, but it is, if we have to do that to be in compliance, according to, if that the legal opinion is, then that's one thing, but it is kind of a big change.
Any other discussion? Not, let's vote.
Didn't mean to leave you hanging there, Chief.
Yeah.
I had to
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's about it. I'll go a lot quicker.
Okay, so we got six yes and 1 no, so that motion carries. And then the seventh and last item on the agenda, consider confirmation of Lori Adams as city recorder. We have a motion and second, we do. Any discussion? Hopefully a little bit less. All right, if there's no discussion, let's vote. Seven yes. All right, and I think that's, did I forget anything before I ring you up? All right, so we're done. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for your time.